Well, it is a cold one out here today, but we are in Littleton, Colorado this week, and we're going to show you everything you need to know about living in Littleton. What it's like to live here, work here, play here, all things real estate. So guys, buckle up. It's going to be a cold one, but it's going to be fun. So currently I'm in the historic district of downtown Littleton. So when you see Littleton on the map, it's going to be a very large suburb in the South Denver metro area. And the part that we're in today that we're exploring first is the historic downtown Littleton area and the city of Littleton. Now Littleton's kind of divided up into two parts, incorporated and unincorporated. So the part that we're in right now is the incorporated portion of Littleton. Oh boy, it's getting cold out here. And the snow is just starting to fall, about 15 degrees right now. But we're gonna still tour all of these neighborhoods. We're gonna show you what you can get for your money when it comes to Littleton. So this historic part, price ranges are gonna vary between $600,000 and $800,000 for the most part of this part of Littleton. Now, as you move further to the west, you are gonna find home prices vary a little bit more. You are gonna have larger lots as you move further to the west out of the unincorporated, and you'll find a little bit more diversity in price. Now, some benefits of living in this area, like I said, you have walkable neighborhoods, very close to local shops. You have a lot of mature neighborhoods, a lot of trees, mature landscaping. Littleton was nicknamed Tree City, USA, so there's all kinds of cottonwoods, aspens, pine, everything around these neighborhoods. Now, given that this development is a little bit older, you'll find homes built in the 60s and 70s. You won't find the typical neighborhood pocket parks, I call them, where it's one block from your house and you can pretty much walk anywhere from your house to a park. They are going to be maybe a bike ride away or a short drive away. So we're going to take a cruise downtown and show you some of the favorite spots down there. They do have the local Town Hall Arts Center, so if you're into live theater, local theater, they have that option for you here. But there's a lot of great breweries, a lot of great bars, restaurants, and the city does a nice job of setting up events throughout the year to explore some of these places, whether that's a bar crawl or a holiday event where they close down Main Street, bring street vendors in and have parades and different things. We do have a very good community feel here in the Littleton area. So guys, some of the favorite spots down here, the View House is a really nice bar and restaurant. They got a great killer rooftop deck to enjoy in the summer and the fall and spring. Right now, too cold. We'll be doing some of this tour from the car for sure. And then you also have like some historic things, local things that have been here for 40, 50 years, like the Elks Lodge that's down here. You also have Old Town Tavern, which is a local bar that's been a staple in Littleton for a long time. Ned Kelly's Irish Pub has been down here for a long time as well. So those are some of the kind of local favorite spots. But there's a lot to do here during the summer. There's different restaurants to check out. So a lot of the locals here do enjoy coming down to Littleton during those events. Now, one of the biggest challenges with this is parking. There's just not a whole lot down here. There's not really any parking garages. So it's nice if you do live local to the city that you could walk down here, or you could just take your bike down here because parking always seems to be a challenge. And just outside downtown, you'll also have the Buck Rec Center, which is a local rec center here for the city of Littleton. It has an indoor pool, great place to bring the kiddos on a day like today when they need to burn off energy, but it's too cold out. But the public school system seems to be rated pretty high and have had positive feedback from a lot of parents who have gone there. Now, Littleton, as you guys may have known if you watch some of my videos, is kind of a close to my heart place because for 12 years of my life, I was actually a police officer in this community. So if anyone knows these streets, it's me when it comes to where great places to live are. So definitely Littleton was a great city to work for. It's a really great city to live in. And the city does a good job of, managing their resources properly and overall provides good services for the citizenry. Speaking of schools, there is an Arapahoe Community College campus here. They actually have a couple of campuses. This is their main one. It's a cheaper option. especially if you have a child that's more accelerated, or maybe they're homeschooled or doing something to get finished with high school early. It's a great option to knock out some of those credits and save a lot of money in the process. Now, what are some of the cons to living in Littleton, in this particular pocket of it? This is unique to the city of Littleton, this area. You are going to have a lot of local shopping and local restaurants, bars, and breweries, but there's not as many big shopping options. So if you're looking for Costco, you got to go outside the city. If you're looking for Target or Walmart, those are outside of the city. It's only a 10-minute drive or so. Now, if that's not important to you, you really like exploring the hole-in-the-wall places, diners, drive-ins, and dive style of restaurants and cafes and bars, Littleton definitely has a style of homes that you're going to find in this older area of Littleton. You will find more of the updated teardowns and rebuilds in that inner city part next to downtown, where you have the luxury townhome row home style of apartments and condos that usually have 1 or 2 shared walls depending on what type of condo it is. And then as you move further to the south and to the east, in the heart of Littleton, you're going to find a lot of ranches and homes that were built in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And along with those ranches, you'll find some bi-levels and tri-levels. Now, the ranches, while a lot of people are kind of searching for ranches because they like that one level of living, the tough part about this is, since these homes were built in that time period, they have a lot lower ceilings than you'll find in a lot of the new construction. Not as much natural light kind of coming through and filling the space. Littleton is one of the few places kind of in the South Denver metro area that you can find those mid-century modern style homes. Now, as we continue to move a little bit further to the south, this is where you're going to find a little bit of newer construction. And by newer, I mean 70s, 80s, and 90s construction. Now, some unique things about these neighborhoods down here is these are going to have the HOA, and you may have your own community pool with it, and HOA oversight. So this is where you start to see more of the chain restaurants pop up, more of the big box stores kind of come into play just outside the city of Littleton. So guys, as far as outdoor activities go, you do have a ton of parks here in the Littleton area. You have a lot of trails. The biggest one is probably the Highline Canal Trail. You also have the Platte River Trail, which is a paved trail that goes all the way south again into Douglas County and the south end of town, and then all the way up into Denver. So as far as other outdoor recreation goes, since you do have the Platte River, when that is in springtime and we have a lot of runoff and things are kind of moving down the river pretty good, people do inner tubing down there. It's more of a float than any type of whitewater rafting or anything like that, but something that some people do enjoy doing. Personally, I've never done that. And then if you move just to the west of there, still in Littleton, but on that southwest corner of kind of the whole metro area, you do have Chatfield Reservoir and State Park. So if you're into wakeboarding, water skiing, that's definitely the place to go in the summer. Something I've noticed in these homes that are further south, that are built in the 80s and 90s, and I've seen a lot of 2 stories down here, you have a little bit more custom options down here versus a lot of the new construction. Now, a big draw of this is, it's a more established neighborhood. It's very quiet. You have mature landscaping, and you have a little bit more uniqueness of a home. What the downside I've seen from a lot of buyers is they come in, they really love the area, but then they get to the houses and they don't like how it's closed off. They're not as open concept as the ones now. Ceilings are generally a little bit lower in some of these than some of the new construction that's happening as well. So it's kind of a trade-off. Now, if luxury is what you're looking for, there's really 3 places that would kind of have you look in this area. And one, you may have heard of the Polo Ridge Club. Now, this is on the south end of Littleton off of Mineral, and it's a very southern end, southwest corner of the city of Littleton, still within the city, but gated, guarded community, multi-million-dollar homes back here. It used to be a place where we'd have quite a few professional athletes live. Since then, they've kind of more congregated in the Cherry Hills Village area and places like Greenwood Village. So that's a little bit closer to Denver and getting downtown for some of those games and things. But Polo Ridge Club is definitely one worth checking out. The other one a little bit further to the north is the Coventry neighborhood, and this is going to be a little bit cheaper than the Polo Ridge Club. So if you want the security and the exclusivity of living in a gated community, they do have those here in Littleton. And the other one that's just a little bit to the west of that and it kind of intertwines with the city of Littleton a little bit, is the parts of Bomar and Columbine Valley. So Columbine Valley is technically its own municipality, has its own police department, but it's very just a small township, but definitely luxury living on the golf course, big sprawling ranches, anywhere from $1 million to $3 million in most cases in that area. Not a lot of homes come up for sale in that Bomar, Columbine Valley area. So if you want exclusivity, you absolutely love Littleton, and you want golf course living in a very exclusive neighborhood, that is one you have to jump on really quickly when they come up on the market. All right, we've moved a little bit further to the west, and now we are outside of the incorporated city of Littleton. This area is still generally considered Littleton. It does kind of fluctuate between a piece of Denver and, unincorporated Littleton is Jefferson County. So one of the benefits people want, is there any benefit to living like in the city? And there is, to a point. You do have more taxes, obviously, if you're living in the city, but you are getting more city services. So there can be some benefits. Generally, you have to weigh out the cost. Is this a well-run city and are taxes stable where I'm not, paying so much and not getting any value from it? But Littleton, I would say, is one of those places where you do get some value for living there. Now, in Grant Ranch, where we have turned to now, this is established neighborhood. It was built in the early 2000s, so you're going to find a little bit of newer construction than you did in the original Old Town Littleton. And you're going to find a lot more of a subdivision feel here. Now, a lot of the homes are going to have that similar style and structure, master plan community like you find in Highlands Ranch and Castle Rock and Parker. But you do have big trees that have grown in the front yard, so that definitely has a more established feel than some of those newer communities. Homes in this Grant Ranch area are going to range from 700 generally to just over $1 million. It also has a lot of great schools in this pocket. So if you're looking for like family-friendly neighborhood, with amenities like clubhouses and pools. There's even a pond here. It can take out and do maybe a little bit of shore fishing, and don't know if there's really anything in there, but for little kids who just want to throw out and have a bobber in the water, definitely a cool place. So definitely a family-friendly oriented community. Like I said, it is on the higher end. 700 is kind of the entry level, and you're going up from there. But you're definitely getting a pretty high caliber of home, and you're like right in the heart of everything. You're 10 minutes maybe from downtown Littleton for all those events. You have a lot of things to do right within here in the community of Grant Ranch. And then just to the west, you have a lot more of the subdivision things to do in the unincorporated part of Littleton. Things like the Southwest Plaza Mall, Chatfield Reservoir, you're probably 15 to 20 minutes away from there. And then you're very close to like the foothills and the mountains. So Grant Ranch is definitely kind of a perfect blend of a lot of different things coming together as long as you can afford it. Now, as we move a little bit further to the west and we exit the Grant Ranch community, we get into the unincorporated part of Littleton in Jefferson County, and this is going to bring along with it different neighborhoods. Some of my favorites right over here are Governor's Ranch and then the Columbine Knolls area. Median home price is going to be right around $650 for some of the homes that are over here in like Governor's Ranch and the nicer parts of Columbine Knolls. And then there's a few other pockets in the southwest corner of Littleton where you can find cheaper, more affordable housing. Those are going to be in the range of $550,000 to $600,000 for a single family. So you're very hard pressed to find anything under $500 in the Littleton area. Now, I wanted to get some drone shots of these different areas that I'm exploring, but it is just too frigid out there for the drone to be up. It's like 13 degrees right now here on the ground. I know it's colder and windier above me as you get into those higher elevations. So we're going to incorporate some of the drone footage I have from earlier this year and different times that I've shot around the Denver metro area and specifically Littleton, so you guys get to see that. But we're all covered in snow here anyway, so you won't be able to see much except a white blanket. Now, this west side is also going to feel a little bit more suburban than Old Town Littleton did with its historic charm. So this is also where you have more of your chain restaurants, more big box stores. So TJ Maxx, Ross, Sierra Trading Post, Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, Target, all the big names that you kind of come to associate with suburban living are going to be easily accessible in this particular part of Littleton. I mentioned that you also have the Southwest Plaza Mall. That's a big shopping center here where I spent a lot of my childhood because I grew up in like the southwest corner of Littleton. It's easy to get around. There's not traffic is not terrible in this area. It is a little bit harder to get out to the airport if you live in Littleton, because you're on that southwest corner of the Denver metro area, and the DIA is out in the boonies out east off I-70. So you're definitely going to have longer commute times if you live in the southwest corner of Jeffco, 45 minutes to an hour. Similar commute time that you would find for like Castle Rock or the southern end of Parker. Now we're going to move to the south, and we're going to highlight two more neighborhoods that are down here that are very popular for people that are relocating here. One of them being Sterling Ranch. It's a newer development. It's a master plan community. Now I want to preface this by saying it's going to kind of feel like Highlands Ranch down there. And we also have the neighborhood of Roxborough Park down here. Now Roxborough is kind of divided into two. There is the actual park of Roxborough. That's a gated community. A lot of older homes, kind of a traditional Spanish feel to a lot of the design in some of those homes, and beautiful scenic red rock topography, golf course living. Definitely more of a rustic and rural feel to that neighborhood. And then there's the traditional like master plan community of Roxborough that is going to have more of a subdivision feel. Now, I will say that the subdivision portion of Roxborough is not quite as desirable for a lot of people that are relocating here because there's just not very many amenities down there. It is a cheaper subdivision, so if you want to live in Littleton, have the Littleton address, and get in at $500 entry-level price point, and most of the homes there from $500 to $550. It is a possibility down there, but they don't have a lot of shopping. They don't have, aside from your mountain biking trails and some of the Highline Canal Trail being down there, you don't have a lot to do in that particular pocket. It's kind of set apart and very quiet, which is nice. A little bit cheaper, but you're paying for being a little bit more isolated and further away from everything as well. So definitely a trade-off there. Oh man, why is it so cold today? Anyway, on to Roxborough. As we're entering the Roxborough Park area, one of the big draws to this is it's going to feel kind of similar to like Morrison with the red rocks and the topography and the mountain views and different things like that. And another one of the biggest draws that people find coming out to this community is the outdoor activities like mountain biking through Waterton Canyon. Again, there's not going to be as many amenities down here, but you're going to have a little bit quieter of neighborhoods and just set apart from all the hustle and bustle of like Denver and that South Metro part of the metro area. So if you are looking for value though, there is a lot of development that's going to be happening around this Roxborough area as it blends in with Sterling Ranch. Now, they definitely do need to do some more infrastructure as far as like things to do, shopping centers, and even more schools, because all of Sterling Ranch, even though that's a big, enormous community that's developing, is all the high school kids go to Thunder Ridge, which is in Highlands Ranch. So definitely need some more schools built out here, some more shopping, some more amenities and things to do for the community. But it definitely is nice having this like kind of rural feel to it, and not having you stacked right on top of your neighbors, and having those beautiful mountain views. Now, Roxborough Park is also right next to Lockheed Martin Space Center, and employs a lot of people that end up relocating here to Colorado. So if you want to be like 5 minutes from work, Roxborough is definitely the best option for you. Definitely you are paying for some of the mountain views and more of the upscale homes in the Roxborough community. And so if you're looking for something entry level in that $500 price point, you can get a little bit nicer house for your money there than you would get in, say, the inner parts of Littleton. You're trading off being further from, all your day-to-day stuff, but some people it's worth the trade-off to be, have more open space and have a view of the mountains. And guys, as we tour these neighborhoods, if you're like, man, that really looks great. I'm not sure if that's quite the right place for me, but man, I like the homes in that particular neighborhood. They really fit my style. Reach out. Call, text, or email. Email is usually the quickest way to get a hold of me. We can schedule a call because even if you absolutely love the houses, but you're like, man, I don't know if that's the right area for me. I have family that's closer to the north end of Denver. I'd like to find something similar to that, but in the northwest or northeast corner of Denver, I know all the neighborhoods in and around the Denver metro area and can hook you up with the right spot. So whether that's Littleton, whether it's Parker, whether it's Thornton or Broomfield. There's tons of different neighborhoods that are sure to fit exactly what you're looking for. So make sure you reach out. I got your back on all things Denver real estate. As we've now entered Sterling Ranch. Now this is just to the east of Roxborough Park that we were at. It is south of Littleton. So I had mentioned before that this is kind of going to have a feel of like a Highlands Ranch. It is a master plan community. A lot of different builders down here, everyone from Richmond, America, Taylor Morrison, Pulte Homes, Lennar, Tri-Point. Got a ton of builders down here and a lot of varying price ranges. Entry level for the Sterling Ranch neighborhood, probably going to be hard pressed, but $650 is probably the bottom price in most of Sterling Ranch. And then you do have a lot of homes in that $700,000 to $900,000 range. And then there also are some luxury pockets of Sterling Ranch that are $1 million plus. So definitely a lot of variety in builders, but you're going to find that a lot of the homes are actually pretty similar in style and shape. So when you get into these master plan communities, builders come out and they have 4 or 5 models that they'll build in a particular pocket of the neighborhood. So you're going to find the same 3 to 5 houses repeating over and over and over again. And a lot of the builders nowadays, especially the bigger scale ones like Richmond, Taylor Morrison, and Lennar, are going to have very similar models. They're not, I can tell the difference because I'm seeing these houses like all the time, but you might be driving down the road and be like, oh yeah, these all look the same. Were these all built by the exact same builder? No, they're definitely different, but each of them has very similar tastes because they all study the same pool of buyers. They all know what the buyers are going to like in the market. So they all go with the same type of exteriors, farmhouse finishes, some with brick, some, open concept when you come right in the front door. So definitely you're going to find a lot of the same here in Sterling Ranch. Now, some benefits of living in Sterling Ranch is a new development, new community. You are going to have very clean and well manicured lots, and everything's just very well taken care of over here. Now, there technically is not an HOA, but you got to take that with a grain of salt. We have what we call metro districts, and these are popping up more and more. They've kind of been around for a long time, but they're getting worse as time goes on. And what I mean by worse is they are a special taxing district for the residents that live here. So builders have gone to the legislature. They've asked that things like the sewer lines and sidewalks and roads and everything, it costs a lot to put those in, and they want to pass that on to the homeowners that are going to live in these communities. And as a result, they've come up with what they call the special taxing district, which basically repays millions of dollars in debt to build these things with really no oversight. It comes out of your property taxes. So when you're looking at new developments in Colorado and in the Denver metro area specifically, you're going to want to make sure you're knowing how much the property taxes are. Whew. Well, all right, guys, that is a wrap on Littleton. If you're thinking of a move here, make sure you hit me up. Call, text, email. I got your back on all things Denver real estate. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We're going to do more on this Everything You Need to Know series. And we're going to go out when it's a little bit warmer, so you get to see Littleton again when it's beautiful, green, and sunny. Until next time, guys.